Hey everybody, and welcome back. We are on South Island Farm. This is a new map coming out by CCS 101, and here we are. We are literally at the career start point. I loaded the map up, and I didn't do anything. So you can see exactly how it is if you load the map up in Start from Scratch. As I said in the description, this map is best played in Farm Manager or Start from Scratch mode. Hey, John Deere, boy, Eagle, what's up? So we start here on the beach by our, well, by our poor, desolate, crashed ship. Make our way up the beach. And, well, the entire map is grass. Take a look. The entire map here is grass. And, of course, on Start from Scratch and New Farmer mode, we don't have any fields that we own. And well, the cheapest plot we can buy is $867,000. So what are we going to do? We start out with just $500,000. Well, we're going to have to take out a loan at the very start in order to be able to buy land. Then we're going to have to basically lease a bunch of equipment until we have enough money that we can actually get more equipment, pay off our loan, and start becoming profitable. This is our start farm. This is not buyable land, but this is where we can start. What we're going to do is we're going to take out a loan. Take out a $500,000 loan. We're going to borrow as much money as we can. That way we can buy the land, and we'll have a little bit of money to start with. Hey, Christopher. Hey, Darren. Hey, Carl. Hey, Henry. All right, so we got ourselves a cool $1 million. Let's go ahead and buy this plot. So this is the cheapest plot we got. $867,000, $1.1 million, 1.4. Oh, we could buy this one, 738. Sorry, 0.7 million and 1.4 million. I'm going to buy this plot because I'm going to want as much money as I can get. Very start. You have a biogas plant here on the map and a granary sell point. Now, I will tell you the granary sell point has a little bit of a trick to it. See here, the granary sell point is blocked off. And I'm pretty sure I remember from the discussions with Will that
Hey.
that we've basically got to wait. What's up? Basically, you need to wait till a ship shows up
You just
before
playing
we
in
can
single
actually
player?
use the sell point. Yeah, I just booted it up. Started from the start point. Explaining the whole premise as I understand it. I'm right that the granary is like unsellable until the boat shows up.
Yeah, 3 hours at night. I was just talking to Will. He said he'd be by in a minute. We've been fixing some stuff already that we found. So, we've changed like the vehicle spawn point and some other stuff. And then he's working on the BGA because it's still not quite working right.
Yep. Issues with the spawn point and moved my copy and fixed a couple typos. So we need
Well,
to buy
he's already
ourselves
walked
some
me through
equipment.
fixing it on my end. It's pretty easy fixes. Just, XYZ stuff. Um, but yeah,
First thing I want to do is I
he's
want
working on the
to.
BGA thing. He was trying not to make it buyable, but he thinks he's just going to have to make like the land buyable. Because for some reason, it's like even if you go into your save game and you edit the BGA ownership to your farm, when you reload the game, it automatically defaults back to unbuyable. It edits your own save game. So the game itself is changing it
Hey, Jonathan.
for some reason.
Yeah. Actually, interesting is Nitro Dad was like thinking of trying to making it so you can use an unbuyable BGA. I don't know what success he's had.
But he's already painted the land and all that stuff. He's just gonna have to upload a new version of the map.
Yeah. But it's a interesting premise, so I'm going to try to play this true to form. Got start from scratch mode. I had to take out $500,000 loan to buy a piece of land. Have some money left over. Have to lease all our equipment until we have enough money to actually swap it out for stuff. This is a map for the long play, not for the quick cash.
Yep. I'm gonna have fun playing it.
So I booted the map up, came to the farm, and went to the farmhouse to find the trigger, and next thing I know, inside.
Yeah.
I said,
Yeah, he's fixed that, and the sleep trigger, you have to fix it a little bit because you actually spawn inside the house.
Oh, if you sleep?
Yeah. So we're working. The checklist is just getting knocked out fast. But I've been live streaming with him to Discord.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Nice donation there.
Working okay?
Yeah, through Discord, yeah. He says he can see everything I'm doing.
So maybe you can stream.
Possibility. You should look at your chat there, Carl.
See that. Thanks, Carl. Thanks for the super chat. Hey, Jonathan. What we're doing is we are testing new map by CCS 101. It's called South Farm Island. It's in the description in the title. Basically, it is
I'll be back
an island map. It's all grass. It's meant to be difficult. So there is, I guess, an easy mode. That is, if you play on New Farmer, even though you don't start with any equipment, you own all of the fields. So you could sell off some land and get yourself a couple $1 million, and then be able to buy your equipment and so forth. Alright, we are right here, so what we're going to do is all of this is mobile. Now it's not so loud. All of this is mobile, so we're gonna find the edge of this, and we're gonna mow this whole field. Before I do though, let me go in here and change plant growth to slow. That's what I wanted. We're gonna mow this whole area. Pick it up, and we're gonna put it in the BGA. But apparently the BGA is currently broken. So we'll at least mow it and pick it up and get it out of the way, and then have it for when the BGA is fixed. All right, check you later, Jonathan. Thanks for dropping by. So we were just talking about you, Nitro Dad, related to you were working on. You mentioned you were working on trying to be able to use a BGA that was not owned. Hey GTX, welcome back to society. If GTX knows of a wonderful way in order to use an unowned BGA, some map makers in the audience that would be interested. BGA is we can put it in the concrete fermenter there. You can put it in the concrete fermenter. Then we'll be able to sell silage later. So I did put in GTX's animal extension mod, so when we do have the ability to own animals, we'll be able to water them. Hey Junior, what's up?
Remember, there's nowhere to sell any animal products on the map.
Oh.
You have to put in your own.
Make your own.
So, like, if you look at your prices screen, you can't sell wheat or barley either.
Price for a week.
On your price screen?
Yeah. Got it up.
Huh. Mine didn't.
Can't store it in the silo. Doesn't look like.
Oh, mine didn't even have a price.
Broke you.
I broke mine.
You broke yours. You put it in the editor. Heard it.
Yeah, that might be it too.
Hey, Von Aries. You see right there? I got 626 for wheat at the granary and 626 for wheat at the granary. 478 for barley. Well, that's the map that we couldn't use the BGA on. Hey, Major Ryan, what's up? Hey, I'm excited about Washington tomorrow.
I can tell. I did notice though, be careful when you mow really close to the road. You can't pick up the grass.
What did you mow with?
The big M. Yeah.
See, I think the thing is that I think Giants uses like position of the actual tractor govern if you're on viable land or not. So the big M has a side mower. Technically go outside of capability. Should be okay with this little mower. Oh no! Well, it says I have to buy the beat. I hope it's not more than $255,000. I done maxed out my loan, and all I did was lease a mower. Mow header. Still have to collect it and put it in the silo. Oh, Carl's in Australia. Land upside down. It's Tuesday morning for them.
Yeah, he's a day, and he's in the future. He's a time traveler.
Yes. Always ask those guys what their numbers were. They already know.
It just all proves Einstein's theory of relativity.
I did think about cheating and putting a solar panel.
Good match. There's a couple solar areas by the weather station. And, did you see the helicopter?
No.
So straight ahead of you in that shed.
All I did was get in it, break a few things, get out.
You have that Discord feature to, stream footage in a call. It's kind of neat.
Yeah, screen share.
You only do it with one person, but
I did it. Me and GTX did it back in 17.
I didn't know anything about it till my son told me.
Yeah, it's like a screen share.
Well, it makes me wonder if Discord could move to a streaming platform.
I'm flying a helicopter. See, I can manage to break all kinds of things.
Well, I mean, is it an error or a feature? For content creators, that's what it is.
Yeah, I'm definitely crazy. Wow, GTX down there in the world down under too. Didn't know that. Yeah, I thought if I mowed all this grass before I plowed up the ground, I'd be able to earn a little money. And then there's a fillable fuel tank on the farm. Gotta go all the way to the dock to get the gas. I added the def. I got a def too. was curious why we can't buy any of the small island over here.
It's the weather station, I think. Will's in chat, I think. Is it?
Text chat. Text chat. I was going to stream cities. You could see your Razzmatazz land. And I remember shut off this map. Oh.
You guys are all
I don't do it
too
tonight.
kind
I'm
to
not
me.
going to do it until Friday. Two drop towers. You got a fun house. You got a roller coaster, e-cups, go-karts. You get all kinds of visitors every week.
Razzmatazz land, I like it.
Celebrate your 200th subscribers.
That's awesome.
So everybody, you should go check out Raz over at his channel. Darren can link it. That would be super awesome. Doing a really cool roleplay thing over on Emerald Coast. Really great storyline. Wonderful video editing. He is an up-and-comer star waiting for his big discovery.
Stop it.
Really like bendable plants. Or where you see bent over right before they get sucked in.
Thank you, Chad. Just got me another subscriber, client. Thanks.
Hey, anything I can do to get you 225. Start small. Small goals.
If people are enjoying the videos, I'll keep making them. I'm having fun doing it. It's a fun hobby.
Remember the next Void video.
I knocked out. There should be a couple this week. I sat down and played for a few hours and knocked out a bunch of episodes. Those are really easy because you don't have to edit them. Just play and then record it.
Thank you. Just so you know, I think you linked over at Simulation for the Nations Discord.
I don't remember.
Well, I think you did. Somehow I landed in the admin channel over there. Like, the admin. Just for fun. So, I just saw one of the mods post it. They pulled your video down because they didn't feel the title was PG.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I didn't feel like it's the name of the game, but
That's okay. I mean, I get it.
we get it. Void's a dirty word to some people.
Thanks for the sub, A Brown.
Offered a script that would let you use pay if you didn't. Scripting master. animal extension mod is pretty cool. Been trying to figure out how to digest the instructions. Adding it.
Yeah, I haven't even played with it. It looks like most of the stuff that they work on is awesome.
I think when we get around here, we're just going to start making up and downs and left and rights. Hey David, what's up? Well, Chad, the mod contest is, well, it depends on what you define as started. I mean, they announced it. They're taking submissions. Deadline is sometime in July. So you could say that it started from that respect. But the judging definitely has not started. That won't start until after the submission deadline. Farmer Oops says he subs to you. He'll point out every time he crashes. Oh, and there's a new version of Hoff out to supporters for testing. Haven't heard the news.
No, I was in the land of vampires until 3 hours ago.
This is indeed a new map, David. Just got access to it this morning. Been able to identify a few issues that are going to be fixed. That is a very good question. Glasgow Selectica? Very good question.
I just asked him, he answered it.
Oh, I didn't put in.
You can put it in text chat. He said it.
Guided steering.
Through Giants testing.
What's that?
He said it wouldn't pass Giants testing because of the shaders. He's using some stuff from older version.
Well, it's less fields and more how many areas. So let's take a look. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 buyable areas. There's technically 1 field. It's kind of a funny little thing. Am I on the right path? Yep. It's technically one field. Oh, right here. One little square that's technically a field, but it's on land that you would have to buy. You basically have to create your own fields, if you will. Back, Jonathan. So I bought this large plot, which is the cheapest on the map, because I'm going to try to play this in demonstration mode of how it's intended to be played, if you will. So we started it up on start from scratch. I had to take out another $500,000 loan just to be able to buy this plot of land. And then I only have $250-some thousand after leasing this piece of equipment. So basically I'm going to mow all this grass. I'm going to put it in that cement silo just ahead. That cement silo right up there. And basically ferment it into silage. We're going to sell the silage at the BGA. And basically then plow this up and carve it up into a bunch of different fields. And get to planting crops and seeing what kind of money we can earn. 1, pay down the loan. 2, buy or lease additional equipment as needed, and hopefully eventually be able to buy up more of the map. I figured if I'm going to plow this up, I should go ahead and basically collect the grass off of it. Because I would rather not be plowing good money into the ground. Actually, let's go ahead and get a forage wagon. And a tractor. Ooh. Tractor. This thing. $85,000. We're gonna go with this one because it's cheaper. Cheaper. Old rusty Russian stuff. Didn't I see that Welker's farm was in testing late last week? I don't think the testing thread was updated today. I didn't see an update today when I looked. Oh, it got kicked back. So Darren, was the cow area just stock? I saw these greenhouses up here. I was like, "Oh, do we have usable greenhouses?" But I think they're just deco. I guess I can't get in the greenhouse. Well, you can always put your own in, right? So Giants is at E3. The whole crew, or just, I mean, I wouldn't think that the QA team would have gone to E3. So we have lower grass yield on this huge grass island. All these weeds. I take it the weeds grow back. Because the weeds probably are part of the grass texture. But if I plant grass, will I get the weeds like this?
There's the creator himself.
Oh, he's quiet.
Yes, I'm quiet.
So if I plant grass, will I get grass?
I don't think so. I think the weeds will not come back. At least that's what I'm hoping.
That I'm mowing this.
Yes, I did not expect the weeds to actually be mobile. That's a surprise, actually.
That break your helicopter, farmhouse.
Yeah,
That
I
thing
see
breaks
that.
your shop. Fermi
Everything's
broke it.
fixed now. Everything's fixed now except for the helicopter, I believe. That's a new break.
Breaks his own maps. Can't sell grain.
Yeah, I don't know why. Mine didn't have prices for wheat and barley.
Yeah, that's weird. I should have had the prices because the granary down on the port takes all 7 grains.
I don't know. I probably did something.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, I can do that. I'm looking at old Russian mods right now. I download them.
RustyMods.com.
Yeah, there you
Not RUCZ.
Yeah, all the old Russian mods. I think everybody knows where you get those from.
go. They're all all uploaded by guest.
Yeah. Guest or Thomas.
I get my Russian mods from Mark DuPont.
Yeah. He loves that stuff.
Well, in the new version of the map now, the land that the BJ sits on is viable, but if you start a new farm, you'll build a mountain along with the rest of the island.
Okay.
And it works fine. I dropped a bale in there and it immediately showed an amount on the digital display. 4,000. I started counting down.
And then you should get paid at night, right? That's how it should work. But I'll
I
test it.
think so, yeah. And I doubled the height of the tip trigger for the trailer, so I should be able to hit the back of the trailer now and register so it can run.
Okay.
That should be fixed. The house has a collision on it now, and also the sleep trigger at the spawn point fixed so it can spawn inside of the house. Very important with the collision in place now. Otherwise, it'll be like FK was on Churn way back in the day when he first tried the store and appeared inside the shop. That was kind of funny.
Yeah, it wasn't decorated.
No. There was a minor XML issue which I also fixed. Farmland is updated to reflect the VGA, so I think that's going to be it. Unless we break something else.
Test this.
By all means, try as hard as you can. That's the whole point of testing. Is we break what we can before we let other folks get hold of it.
I broke it right away. The vehicle spawn. I was like, well.
Yep, well, that was my fault. The Giants changed all that stuff in 17, so that you no longer have a vertical attribute to a spawn point. So you just fall through you're going to fall through to wherever the terrain is. Well, there is no terrain. Because the terrain is under the water. The water is under the port, so it gets on a collision with the port. So
Yeah, I thought the mower was the worst, the side mower.
oh, that thing's bad as no bad when you landed on there.
See, I didn't buy the
Red.
mower. I moved the spawn point.
Well, there shouldn't be a save game change needed for the new map version, so you can swap it out. That'll fix all the before issues.
Oh, let me turn him up.
I'll look up, there's apparently a hologram that's going through it.
Will's quiet. Let me turn him up.
Tiger Man says your tractor's too loud.
I do have audio turned up. People whine. We hear your
Well,
tractor.
that's that favorite fan there. Well, I can't hear it at all, so.
Yeah, I got YouTube turned way down. Otherwise, I hear the echo of what we say, and then 5 seconds later.
Echo.
For me, it's more like 15 to 20 seconds later. It's pretty freaky.
Alright, I turned everything down, so he should be louder. I turned him up. Well, Jonathan, I'm trying to not cheat money in. I only got 248 grand.
When the Seasons comes out, I'm going to make a hot, rainy geo for this island to make it appropriate to the location.
And that's
So that'll make it even more interesting.
that's with my loan maxed
So the
out
rain, probably
100%.
5 days out of 7.
I like it.
So that'll add a whole new level of fun to the mix.
Tiger Man doesn't feel like he's missing out on a secret, so we should all whisper and mumble.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
As far as
I
I
don't
know,
know.
it didn't work.
I may use Renault tractors because that's the logo inside the shed.
I never tried it.
Yeah, that's a good
I was
idea
just
to
told
do
it
that.
didn't work.
Who owns that? Is that Chrysler? No.
No clue.
All in Chrysler. The other way around.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, if you want some interesting history reading, you can go backwards through the family line of ADCO and see where all the equipment came from. That's pretty interesting to read that.
All the different brands and then the acquisition.
Yeah.
All of that. Farmall, McCormick.
See, John Deere was just big. They just got big, but then ADCO got big by swallowing up everybody else.
So, Renault Agriculture became 100% owned by German agricultural equipment manufacturer Kloss in 2008.
Oh, okay. In 08.
But the company is Renault, Nissan, Mitsubishi, like they're all an alliance. The Grand Alliance.
Yeah. And Alice Chalmers now makes transformers for electrical power substations and stuff like that. That's kind of strange.
And I was thinking Autobots and Decepticons.
Could be. Because they all need power from somewhere.
Almost broke out the voice from Armageddon. He's like, American components, Russian components, all made in Taiwan.
So, I think it would be really cool if GTX could Johnny Appleseed mod.
Oh, that would be cool. And use that name or Ghost.
Gotta hand plant your trees. Maybe I'll make this a giant forest. Just plant saplings.
I don't think pine trees grow there.
Plant saplings.
Yeah, pine trees aren't real suited for this climate down here. You can plant palm trees though.
I did quickly check for floater. Verified
Yeah,
the
I
one
did.
tree was well grounded.
I was pretty sure you weren't going to find any floaters on this island.
No, instead I found a house that was
Yeah. The only way to
hologram.
the only way to keep Klein from finding tree floaters is don't put any trees on the map. If you do put one in there, make sure it's deep in the ground.
I just now thought of that. It's like, we're not going to find any floaters.
That's right.
But how many years would it take for those tree stumps to rot out? You'd have to play like 20 years on seasons.
That's going to be a lot of grass.
It is, but I only get like 28,000 liters for half of a pound.
Yeah, it's that low yield. You have no fertilized area underneath it, and it's full of weeds. It's a good thing you're going to ferment this stuff instead of feeding it to your animals. Probably make them die. No telling what the weeds are full of. Well, see, in the original 2008 version, this island was wheat fields only because that's the only crop you had in 08, and there were no animals. So I figured in my storyline I would just say it was a similar island because it's not exactly the same. I would change it a little bit, and we would make it totally overgrown. No fields.
This shape is overall similar to the original map.
The original 2008 Giants Island map, not the 2009 one that we all see floating around on the Mod Hub and everywhere else, but the 2008 version. It's I took the dim from that and based this on it. So the road system is very similar, but I had to replace it because the 2008 road really sucks. Looks terrible. So I just used the road kit to make a road and painted the rest of it on. And of course, none of the original buildings were here. They're all gone. The only thing original scenery-wise is the port, the actual foundation piece for it.
I did check to see if I felt any of the buildings were built on unlevel foundations.
Oh yeah, that's a pet peeve of mine. I hate that. But the buildings are not as bad as water that's on an angle. Yeah, last time I checked, water doesn't sit at an angle.
So at work, facilities went around and hung a bunch of hand sanitizers, and I just saw them when the dispenser was up, before they put the sanitizer bottle. Looked at it, went by on our hallway, looked at it. That's not level, because it's right beside a grout line, because it's on a block wall. And then I said, wait. Let me maybe give them the benefit. This is a 40, 50-year-old building. Maybe that grout line's not straight.
Put a level to it and see.
Well, then later that day I walked by with they put the sanitizer bottle in. And indeed, the dispenser was not level. Because you can see the line. Had like your rusted out BGA digesters and state.
Oh yeah, that's a similar texture setup to that one of the maps that you did a review on a few weeks back, and I had one real similar to that back in 15 as well. It might have been the same set of textures. I'm not really sure, but yeah, it does. That's the actual BGA layout for the 2013 BGA, I believe.
Completely off topic, but have you used the placeable signs in mailboxes yet, Klein?
I used it in my weekend roundup.
I love them. Those things are so cool.
I have to say, this is the first time I've opened FarmSim since I.
Yeah, I used them in my last bid.
Well, you can put a mailbox down in front of the farmhouse on Emerald Coast now.
Actually, I put, if you watch my last video, I got a Blackbird Farms now has a sign and a mailbox.
Oh, I hadn't seen your last one yet. I'll have to watch that.
I saw your video before I really looked at the signs. So when I saw the Blackbird sign, I'm like, oh, I wonder how he did that. Put it in a. He's getting fancy. He's putting it in a graphics editor. He's making his own sign. Then I realized after I did the weekend roundup that, oh wait.
Yeah. So Raz, your thunder got stolen. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I will not take credit.
Well, I was thinking about when Lono came out, 17. Testing, or in the original version, Bullet Bill had, I guess, mailboxes had names of testers. Various
yeah, he
houses.
had one for me. I remember my house was a blue one over there behind the grain elevator.
but now you can thumbs it up to Giants and put your own mailboxes inside. Because watching a stream with the Sim Station earlier today, streaming his map editing, and he talked about, because he wants to upload it to Giants. And he talked about, I guess there's a thing in the rules about not using real places, real people's maps, because he's obviously doing his map based on the area around his home farm. And he basically wanted to put real mailboxes up, and the farmlands that you buy would be the names of the real people that own the real land. And all of that information is public information. Here in the U.S., of course, that may not be public information in other countries. Different privacy and stuff. But I thought, you know what? If he just gives me a legend of whose farm is where, I can just put my boxes in and put my.
Yep, that's right.
So just include a map of who should own what house, and I'll put my own mailbox in and put my own name on it.
Or just not upload to the mod hub at all. That's one reason I don't do that. Of many reasons, but
True.
I don't like all the restrictions. I want the realism and the detail. I don't want the file size restrictions. I don't want the logo restrictions. I don't want all that other stuff going on. If I want it in the map, I want to put it in the map. So that's my primary reason for not doing that.
Now, of course, this map is easily fits the file size.
Oh yeah, it would. But the problem with this one is going to be the lack of certain features, I'm sure. And not only that, but the shaders that I use for the older buildings in order to get the dirt feel on that building that we're coming up on right now. I have to use an FS17 compatibility shader, which this shows some of their idiocity over there at Giants, because they provide that shader so that the converter in GE will work and convert your mod, but yet if you upload a map or a mod with that shader in it, they reject it. I'm like, what? Why? They made that shader for 19 as a compatibility thing, but they don't want that in your product. So, okay, fine.
Maybe it doesn't work. Maybe the console version doesn't have that shader.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Hadn't thought about that. Don't know. I know that I think it was Nostalgia Farmer or somebody that we were chatting with in Discord the other day was trying to upload a mod. This has been a couple, 3 months back. They kept getting kicked back because of those shaders. He had to take them out. Like the Sosnovka buildings that I used over there close to the windmill, those buildings, because of the weird way the Giants did the textures on those things in 2015, if you do not have the correct shader on there, they totally explode. There's no way to get them to work any other way. With the 17 stuff, you can just delete the specular file or render it neutral, so to speak, and then they'll look fine. You don't need the shader, but you can't get the dirt effect. So that's why I use the shader.
I kind of like the yield on this grass. Like normal grass, the yield's so high. I think I may have knocked the yield back in growth control. Just stick on the surface.
Yeah, because if you were to plow that, fertilize it twice, I mean, you're gonna have so much.
Yeah, you'll have 500,000 bales out of this. You can bale the whole island. Well, I like the fact that the yield is low, because it would be low with the weeds in it, so that makes it realistic. And of course, if you come back later or just let the grass regrow, I'm thinking the weeds may not come back, since there's no terrain detail under that grass. That'll be an interesting. You'll have to leave a little
Yeah.
spot of the grass just by itself just to see what happens. See if it comes back. See if the weeds come back on it. One very irritating thing that I discovered with this map was that the water planes that Giants is using now, their reflections are controlled by those envelope or environment map files that you see in some maps. And those environment files, you cannot do anything with them. They have to be compiled. So there's nothing we can do to fix those. And so what it does is it paints a distance mountain scenery on the water plane as a reflection, which doesn't exactly work when you're in an island in the middle of the ocean. That's where the fake clouds come from that are in the water also. So I had to use some distant scenery over there and make it look like the mainland for the Virgin Islands is off in the distance to kind of hide that stupid mountain thing in the water.
Yeah, I see it. Kind of looks like it is proper reflection. That.
I was talking to Rackin about it. He said that could be fixed, but he'd have to compile a new set of environment files for me, and that he told me that more than likely when they're all done with seasons, they'll be overriding those anyway, so it wouldn't do any good. So I said, well, I'll just wait. I'll figure something out.
Seasons. Highly anticipated.
Oh, yeah. The issue I'm trying to sort out in Emerald Coast now with seasons is Rackin told me how to do a texture thing. He told me how they're going to make the textures work, kind of, sort of, so that I could get started getting prepared for it when it did come out. And it's going to be difficult because when you save the textures for the flowers or the grass, it breaks them. They don't have shadows anymore, which is kind of not nice.
I need to get the PJ extension, put it in, try it out.
Uh-oh. More undocumented functions.
It's enhanced PG, right? That script's called.
Enhanced or PGA, enhanced, something like that.
Should be, but maybe a couple pages back. 2 weeks ago. Let's go. Let's put BGA in the search.
I have yet to try that mod. I hope it has all the same functionality we had in 17, because that was pretty cool.
Let's see. What is that? Team LTW.
In 17, I think in 17 it would override the BGA's trigger to allow it to accept pretty much anything, like manure, slurry, wheat, barley, any grain you dump in, but it would give you different, I guess, values or amounts of money depending on what you put in. Some things rot better than others. And it changed the hopper to where it would only actually grind up the material twice a day for a 1 hour period each time, like from like 7 to 8 in the morning, and then maybe from like 6 to 7 at night, something like that. But you got a trickle of money all the time because fermenters technically are always generating methane gas, and that's what's running the generator. So that was nice. I liked the way that it was all set up. But that's the 17 version. I have no idea how the 19 one works because I haven't looked at it yet.
There's definitely no trickle of money.
Okay. Well, they
Still
got rid of
have
that,
the still have the sell of still have the limited feed times.
then.
I don't know if it really gives you any additional capability. Other crops. I think at the heart of it, it just makes it so you can only add 50,000 liters in. Only actually digest it twice a day. The amount that it ends up digesting over that 1 hour means that probably over the course of like 2 days, 2.5 days, it would take to chew through all 50,000 liters.
Wow, that's slow.
So it really reduces your capability of using BGA for any sort of real monetary benefit.
Yeah, that's worse than the default one now. Because see, the old way in 17, I guess it was written by a different guy in 17 too. So the 15 and 17 were different. Wasn't that upside down or somebody like that made that, or Marhu, or I think maybe it was Marhu that did it.
I think maybe it was upside down.
Or it might have, yeah, it might have been. They're both real good scripters. I get them mixed up.
Let's look at here.
Travis, this map is not really based in real life anywhere. It's actually a derivative of Giant's 2008 map, been somewhat modified. But it is not representing any real.
Looks like you can change the price in Lua, though.
Oh, in the extension.
Yeah, because it looks like you get paid based upon kilowatts per hour. That's what you're getting paid.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to be. That's right. Does it say anything in there about input types?
Let me look here.
We're gonna make a scripter out of the Raznak.
See, in 17, with a default BGA, you could not override what it takes simply by adding things to the XML because it would just reject it. But when the BGA extension was running, it overrode it automatically somehow and allowed you to put all kind of stuff in there. Now, with the BGA the way it is in 19, that might not be an issue because it might have to just add it in the XML. I don't know.
I see. BGA fill types: liquid manure, silage, grass, windrow, potato, sugar beets.
Okay, so it is doing some overriding, and that's good. That's about the way it should be. Does it say anything about straw?
I don't see anything listed.
There'll probably be people that whine and complain about that, but in real life, you don't want to put straw in a BGA because it doesn't rot really good. It just kind of gets moldy and lays there.
Alright, so it converts it to methane. I'm just
Right.
reading through, if I'm understanding this Lewis right.
Yeah, that's what it does in real life too.
I'm just viewing it. I'm not even in an edit mode because I'm afraid I'll break it.
Whoops.
Yeah, you could play. Somebody could play around with it that knows what they're doing.
But it looks like it's set up pretty easy. All you really need to do is just adjust the values.
Because I mean, you can even, if I'm reading this right, you can adjust the slot capacity, which is it's set to default 50,000, so you actually could increase.
Yeah, Travis, I've got a question how playable that map is going to be. Seen so many 4X maps that are
my
not
computer abilities are like a preschooler, so
that are not overly well playable because of incorrect resolution of files and such. Makes it difficult to windrow and TED stuff.
Amazingly, when I first learned about computers, I didn't even know what the auto exec bat and config sys files did in the older MS-DOS file system.
Yeah, I think
That was an old time ago.
I think what I sent, that's part of the Lua.
Oh, okay, I'm looking at it. Yeah. Ooh, the fermenter holds a buttload of stuff, don't it? 2,512,000 liters of methane. Definitely don't want that going up.
Yeah, somebody else smarter than me have to look through.
Well, Darren, he was all over Midwest Horizons. Then it came out, and I don't think he mentioned it once. Big image file. 32,768 pixels. 32,068.
Yeah, that's for the foliage files. Most of the maps out there that are claiming to be 16x would really, in real scaling, would actually be an 8x map, which many folks said was impossible back in the day, and that's why they're assuming it's a 16. And what they're doing is they're getting their scaling wrong. They think it's a 64x map, but it's really not. So you go by the GDM, not the GDM, but you go by the DEM file to get the actual size, multiply by 2. So the DEM in a 2x map is 1024 by 1024, scaled up twice is 2048 pixels by 2048 pixels. And that's the actual size of the map. And so the same thing is going to be true of anything else further up the line, like a 4x is 4096 by 4096 because it's scaled up from 2048 to 2048. So when you get up to a 16x, that's huge.
That also kind of relates with these coordinates here in the map.
I think so, yeah.
Like on a 4x map, I'm seeing like 1,000 to 4,000 XY coordinates.
Right. So see, a 64x map in real life would be so huge. There's no way you could even open it in GE if you had all the files the correct size. I mean, yeah, you can scale everything up big enough, but it ain't going to open in GE. So their math is wrong on that map. Either that, or they've got the wrong file sizes in it. Because there's so many folks out there now that are playing 4x maps, making them with 2x file sizes. And that's when you have trouble with hay tedding and things like that on them, and you have trouble with not being able to paint fine detail in the foliage. It paints in big clumps, and the MPC gets kind of crazy. In 17, we had a bad issue with that. I had to fail several 4x maps because they had 2x map size files in them, and the map was nicely done, but when the MPC player or the computer, the farmer that owns the land, it would get off of the field. It would be crossing over places where you had roads and other things. It wasn't right because the files weren't scaled properly.
Yeah, so I know like the whole 17 there was a big deal with what you said. Like you would mow, like here, windrow is right in the middle, right behind the mow. But on some maps, some 4x maps, when you mow, it's like off to the side a little bit.
Right.
or you got to be a little off-centered in order to pick up the whole windrow. Even visually, you should not be picking up the whole windrow. You got to run off-centered to do it, or you can only head in one direction.
Right. That was another issue.
In a 17 map where you can only seem to head grass if you mowed, let's say, west or something, or if you ran west. Tried to go east, it didn't do anything.
Right. Yeah, all of those were symptoms of that same problem, and they're not properly scaled up when you do your starter map.
Our painting, now that we can paint textures, I guess you're only going to be able to paint so small because blocks are only so small.
See, I did the math the other day just out of fun. If you wanted to make a real 64x map, an honest to God actual real one, your DEM file is going to be 32769 by 32769. The weight files for painting your textures on the ground are going to be 65,336 by 65,536. The GRLE files, which control your farmland and your tipping on the ground and all that, are going to be 32768 by 32768, all of which are too big for GE to open anyway. And then the kicker is going to be the GDM files for the fruit density and for the cultivator density. These have to be 131,072 by 131,072. Now that's if the math is done correct.
So 1024 by 1024 is typically referred to as 1K. High def.
Right.
2048 by 2048 is typically, well, it's in essence a 2K image. So these 4K cameras, when you look at a 4K TV, it's basically 4,000 something, 4,000, maybe 8,000 by 8,000.
A lot of TV is a widescreen, so it's going to be a little bit different. It's 4,000 some pixels on the long axis, and then maybe whatever the other upscale is for the vertical would be less.
I've got a 2K monitor that's 2950 by 1440. So 32,000. So that's in essence a 32K image. 32 megapixel, if you translate it to a digital camera. You'd have to have multiple 32 megapixel, 64 megapixel images, 100 megapixel images, map file size, gigs upon gigs.
Well, see, I tried to make a true, accurate 16x starter map for folks, and I couldn't do it because Photoshop won't even save out the GDM file, the ping, so that I can convert it. Because 32768 by 32768, 32,000 by 32,000 is the cutoff. Anything bigger than that requires a special viewer or a special opener, and PaintNet will do it. But then so I went ahead and made my ping in PaintNet, so I'll go ahead and handle this. And then as soon as I opened the map in GE to create the GDM files, it blew GE up. It would never open. And so folks will argue with me. They say, "Oh, I got a 16x map." I said, "No, it isn't." "Oh, yeah, it is." That's all right. What size is the DEM file? Look in the map real quick and see what the DEM file is. "Oh, it's a 4097 by 4097. I said, "Okay, well, what size are your weight files?" "Oh, they're about 8192 by 8192. I said, "Well, that's an 8x map, sorry." "But it's huge." "Well, yeah, it is. It's much bigger than a 4x, but it's not a true 16x map. A true 16x map is 16 4x maps, just to put it into perspective.
It's huge.
It's very huge.
As I said in that one video about stupid big field.
Yeah. Can you imagine having a field on there the size of a 4x map?
The Montana guy didn't think too much of that.
No, he didn't like that.
It's what you're used to. There's no in the East Coast there is no field that is 5,000 acres in size because whole towns are not that big.
You don't have enough land over there for it.
There's just been
No.
too many people here for too long.
There's
Yeah.
too many people. There's too many streets. There's too many houses to have any sort of wide open area like that. You're lucky if you've got more than 100 acres. It's not obstructed by some physical structure or geographical issue like a creek or a forest or grove of something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Giant
Well,
outcropping.
People get accustomed to what they think a region is like. People think of a UK map and they think of a tiny, tight little yards, with green buildings, and that was in 2011. And now, and all the maps look the same, And now all the UK maps are tiny, little, tight yards with gray buildings. But there are places in the UK that have big, spacious, sprawled out, big fields the size of those in Emerald Coast. But they're not. Most people don't think of it like that. And the same thing's true with the U.S. They think here that all the fields go as far as the eye can see, and it's just endless land. It's not. Like the Midtown USA map I did was very similar in terrain to the area that I lived in when I was young. A few bigger fields, but most of them were smaller, and the terrain was hilly. It wasn't flat.
Watching Big Tractor Power, there's some big agriculture in Kentucky. I was kind of surprised. Open western Kentucky is like.
Yeah, it's more Midwest in appearance than the East, especially when you get close to the Mississippi River.
Yeah, I've never been to Kentucky, so I have no idea about that.
It's one of those states that's more wide than long, tall, or east-west
Like
and
west-
north-south.
West Tennessee's that way too. It's just wide open, flat.
I know when I lived in Virginia I didn't live there for quite a year, almost a year, and I never saw big fields anywhere. Everything was small. And there was one guy who was negative about my Emerald Coast map, thinking that it was too flat, and no variation in the terrain and everything, and didn't like the buildings. I'm like, well, dude, this is the way that things look here where I live. I ought to know because I live here. If you go north a little ways, maybe 20 miles, you're going to get into some hills. But right around here where I live, it's flat.
Hey, Nate, Gamer, what's up?
And the buildings, all the farm buildings around here are those metal ones with the sliding doors on them. They don't have
there's
those
lots
rustic,
there's lots of U.S.-based maps already out. Got Major Ryan KY, so lucky agreeing to open. Bill from Oregon.
Yeah, like what he
They
said. He
measure
said in
fields
the
in
valley they
miles.
measure fields and
miles. Yeah. My field is 15 miles by 30 miles.
I mean, some counties out there probably have the population of a modest, small city.
I talked to my father-in-law. He's from South Dakota. He grew up farming there, and they measure things there in square miles. Like, they don't say how many acres they own. They say how many square miles they own.
Yeah.
Hey, Sinuke, what's up?
I know we used to live in Kansas City when
Monday's
I was a kid
pretty
for a very
good.
short time, and about the only time when I was a kid that we didn't live on a farm. And drive just right across the border into Kansas, and those fields over there, they go on until the horizon. Those huge wheat fields over there. It's amazing.
650 acres is a square mile.
Yeah, on the Emerald Coast Forest, for example, it's 240 acres. So it's not even a square mile. It's less.
Yeah,
But
could you
it's huge.
imagine trying to forest a square mile in this game?
Mhm.
Well, I mean, a standard map's 2 kilometer by 2 kilometers. So
Yeah,
a
about
little more than a
1.6
mile and a
miles.
half
Yeah.
wide by a mile and a half tall.
Yep. And down here we have a lot of forests like that, just like in Emerald Coast. There are hundreds of acres of pine trees.
Yeah, it's the game. I love the game, but scale is really misrepresented in the game,
Yeah.
and it's not the fault of anything. It's just the nature of size. People really don't understand it.
Yeah, it's also the way Giants did with measuring capacities and then making capacities and weight act like the same thing. You know, it's like 30,000 liters of whatever is in your trailer, and people can just edit the XML and change it to 60. Well, that's not realistic because in real life, you don't shove 4 liters of Coke into a 2 liter Coke bottle, just because you don't feel like carrying 2 bottles. So they need to have a way to differentiate weights according to what's in that container. See, because 2 liters of water is different than 2 liters of helium or 2 liters of lead, liquid lead, or whatever, if you could even put lead in a bottle. But yeah, that and the scale, it makes people confused about the game a lot, I do believe.
Ryan says Kentucky, they measure things by by look and see. We own everything
Yeah.
as far as you can look and see. Go to the next farm over, and they own everything they can look and see.
So you own less on hazy days, I guess.
Well, I can't see the back 40 today. I guess we don't got it.
Yeah, it ain't ours today. Hurry up and get over there and harvest it, Mary. Well, there's something the Giants did with the trees this time around. I think it was by the way they made the shadow effects off of the trees that makes a big frame rate hit compared to what 17 was. Because when you had all those trees like in Emerald Coast in 17, didn't even, I mean, my frames would be 60 all the way through the forest. And now in 19, with the same exact number of trees, same kind of trees, you get a little bit of an FPS drop. It's not bad, but you get a little bit of it, so you can tell that there's something going on there. And people that run mid-level computers, well, it messes their frame up pretty good.
Yeah, the only frame drops I have are trees, like you said, and then when I'm in cab.
hmm The painted water puddles, I think, if you have them close to the trees, they can cause a little bit of a hit, but not too bad.
I think it's those new pine trees are
Yeah, I think so too.
at the school.
I may have to shelve my idea of East Coast because Emerald Coast had like 12 to 15,000 trees around the forest area and the surrounding meadows, and probably closer to 16 or 17,000 map wide for the whole map. But I think East Coast has more than double that.
Well, like Field Mountain. Field Mountain has a ton of trees. That multiplayer map we did for a long time that had the big mountain in the middle.
Yeah.
That had a ton of trees. I could feel the frame came across on the screen. I could feel the frame hit whenever I was looking toward them things.
And the trees are supposed to clip out at 600 meters, I think it is, or 599, something like that. One dead tree, huh?
What the deal is with that mod? I didn't try it before that video.
Well, it's because it's stupid. I mean, why in the world would you want to place a dead tree anywhere? I mean, put it in GE. Put it in GE, yeah, but not to place one. I'm going to buy a dead tree.
I think it appeals to the console players that don't have the ability to edit as much.
Maybe so, yeah.
That was to God honest truth. My first reaction when I put that down, I was like, what? It says I have too many trees of this type. How do I have too many trees of this type? First one I put down.
You ought to try plant one here on this map just to see what it'll do. Make sure you got your game saved though. I have too many trees of this type. There's only one stump on the whole island. How can it be too many trees?
Then other people put in comments they tried it on Ravenport and it worked just fine.
Oh, Giants passed it, so that means it's perfect.
Did something.
Giants passed other stuff that wasn't so perfect too.
Just a service truck that didn't have a service function.
Mm-hmm.
It got updated the next week to add the service function to it.
Yeah, that's another reason I don't want to put my stuff on Mod Hub, because God only knows what they'll find wrong with my stuff.
Custom modding. Giants wasn't going to pass their John Deere until they made it so the doors opened. What?
Yeah.
Doing? Not. Now you're injecting personal opinion to what shows up in the mod hub because you want to see the doors open.
Right. Y'all want the doors to open and make all the default doors open. We'll be happy with that.
Hey, Real Viking, what's up? Driving everyone crazy by this field.
It's realistic. That's all you can afford.
Driving everyone insane. Go lease the Big M, lease the Big M. Even Darren's going.
It's better than mowing it with the John Deere sickle bar from 17.
Behind the Model A.
This is what you do.
Model A.
What we do on the East Coast. We go out and we mow hay all day, and that's all we do. And next day we come out and we rake hay and bale it over a day and a half.
And then you don't see a tractor in the field for 2 more months.
I was watching that video where Big Tractor Power did that thing about the first alfalfa cutting in Kentucky. They said that basically it was going to be the first of 7 cuttings.
7? Wow.
I know things have changed since I did farm 30 years ago. We only got like 3. Third one was pretty sparse.
Yeah, that's the way it was in Missouri too. 2 or 3.
First one was really thick. Second one was thinner. The third one was pretty sparse, and that's all we got. 7. Didn't look like they were mowed very tall either. So. Get more yield if you cut it shorter more, or if they just do 7 cuttings because they have a lot of cows to feed. Can't wait for it to get taller.
Maybe so. Speaking of that, that's what I wish Giants would build that into the game, to where if you lay these windrows out like this, they would actually dry. Because that's when in Missouri we never tedded anything ever. We had those little rakes like the New Holland one that are gear driven or whatever, and we'd cut it with a hay bind of some sort, old Heston hay binds and stuff, and then come by and rake it, and that's it.
Oh, I love this mower.
Seasons is going to take care of that.
Thanks for the sub, Perry. And that was one of the very first things they showed off was except grass drying in the fields, which means that yes, grass doesn't magically vanish at midnight.
Yeah, probably not. That's a good idea. I remember Real Logger and I were talking quite a bit in 17 about it. I kept asking him, how come we have to, do this mess with the grass? It should dry. In real life, grass dries if you leave it in the field. And he said that something with the game mechanics in 17 would not allow that. But apparently they have found a workaround for 19, so that's awesome.
Well, Radkin was to slip some coding in.
Code.
Slip something in.
Well, there's stuff in because you, me and you, we've talked about it, Klein. Where like when you use the enhanced vehicle mod, there's a temperature. Like the vehicle actually has a running temperature
Yeah, it's down here right
that
now. It's
changes.
a 90 Celsius. Goes up and down. The def thing. Some vehicles that's if you look at the save game XML, that's in there.
Yeah, there's a setting for that too.
So
That's
the
right.
def mod basically just took advantage of what was already basis of what was there.
Well, there was a discussion last year, I think it was. No, actually, it might have been in 2015.
Hey,
No, it was in
Renegade Rancher.
2017. Yes, earlier
What's up?
on. And folks were complaining about certain things they wanted Giants to do in the game, and they said, well, they have a much longer game release cycle than that. Like, for example, the forestry that came out in 15, they were already planning it in 2011. That's why you had that fake lumberyard over there on the default map. And so that's what, 2 game release cycles. So people that want stuff now in the game, it'll be showing up in the one that's after.
If you came in early or late,
FS23, I guess.
there's the PDA. Basically, you start by
Things that are showing up now in 19 were actually being planned in 15.
Renegade Rancher. There's only one tree. It's over there at the main farm. The treeless island. Renegade Rancher. That's it. I already cut down.
Sorry, there were no trees.
I kept
Just one whole tree on the map.
I kept the decorative pink tree.
Yeah, the pink one. That's the cool one.
Spot.
It's the bird sanctuary because that's where all the birds are.
I like to see birds other than blackbird.
Yeah, crows get a little bit old after a while.
Here would be a wildlife.
Well, they have a wildlife spawning LUA, I guess, in the game now, so I'm assuming that could easily be expanded to include other additional wildlife besides the birds. So we might see some stuff in the future.
Well, my understanding is it was planned to be in there, but it never wasn't visually appealing.
Oh, okay.
Animation looked good.
So they did
started
a
it
good
late.
job on cows and everything came out really nice. They ought to. I would think it wouldn't be that hard to do a deer. A random weed there.
Deer don't look bad. I mean, the horses don't.
Yeah, that came out real nice.
I wonder if it's that distance clip thing, because you know how animals freeze at a distance.
Yeah.
I wonder if that was the issue. Like the bear would just, or the deer would just stand still until you, well, which they would do anyway.
Yeah, static is never move. Duh. If they move when you get close, that'd be pretty realistic anyway. You know, you get too close to the deer and he bolts and takes off.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. They usually kind of stand there and look around till you get too close or sneeze, and then Grandpa gets mad at you.
Real deer and bear in that map I did.
What was that, Black Mountain?
Yeah, Montana, the Black Mountain, Montana.
It had the moose and the bear in it.
Walking through the mountain, you can see a real bear strolling by.
Except he's not strolling, he's just sitting there looking at you.
Run away!
Yeah. Oh wait, it's a statue.
On Fellsburn, the golden statue in the middle of town has all the animals, and there's a deer there. It's a bird.
Yeah, that makes me think they might have been going to put a deer in.
The animals stacked on top of each other.
See, I never even paid attention to that crazy statue. I didn't even look at it. The gold, okay, bye.
take the winch mod. I want to hook up to it and yank it off, melt it down and sell it.
Yeah. Well, that's where all of our gold nuggets went to. They made a statue out of them. It was much more fun picking them up.
Just imagine this map with gold nuggets and have to find them.
Oh, that could have had some
Stupid
fun with
weeds.
nuggets on this map. Supposedly, from I don't know where I read it now. I'm trying to remember where I read it, but I read somewhere that the dog is supposed to go and find a treasure. But I don't have any way of confirming that. Nobody's said anything about that since that one incident that I saw it written in a thread somewhere.
Oh,
And I've never. My dog is dummy. He's a dummy. All he can do is follow me or run through the side of my house. He doesn't do anything.
I thought you said you thought you'd heard that the dog was supposed to go away. 21. They realized how much of a complete harebrained idea that was. And it was going away. Everyone was going to just pretend it never existed.
Well, if it actually did something constructive, it would be kind of cool. But there were a lot of things people said in the beginning that never came true. He was supposed to be able to jump up in the seat beside you in the tractor, and all this stuff. And
hey, Haggard, what's up?
He will follow you though. But that's about it.
I think I tried to make him jump off a cliff on some map. Chuck the ball somewhere.
Of course you did.
Hey, we need a. We can't stream our farm sim league practice. Get back in there. Beat that score.
Why you can't stream it?
Seeing my strategy.
Oh, yeah.
Silly, this is competitive. If I streamed it, then people would see what our ideas are. Our winning ideas.
Let's live broadcast our huddle, our team huddle. Yeah.
I've already.
The Patriots do it.
I've already challenged.
That's because they suck.
Challenged Roy over at the Sim Station. Thinks he's got a team of winners.
Well, can't you practice play with different teams?
I said, bring it on.
Yeah,
we got 6 so far on the team. Have 2 more. We haven't been able to get a 3-on-3 yet. 6. We can go in and do a three-sided practice match. But it would be kind of fun to do a 3-on-3 and then have that whole. It kind of brings that whole stress level. Like, oh my gosh, they've got double the points that we've got, or they have points on the board and we don't yet. You get frazzled, and scatterbrained, and you start messing up.
Yeah, so you get points from selling bales, right? And then also from selling grain.
You get modifier bonuses for selling grain.
Okay.
So, but it also slows down like your bale belt. So there's pluses and minuses to both.
Okay.
So there's 2 bale options. One, you could put the bale in the trigger on the ground, 10 points. 2, you could put a bale on a conveyor belt that takes it up and puts it in the loft through a narrow door opening for 20 points. But it's like the collision on the bale elevator gets narrower as you get up to the top. So if you put it on not so straight, it will fall off.
Oh wow, you got to start all over again.
Yeah. So do you go for more points, but take longer to put your bales on the elevator, or you're just really darn good using them? Or do you put them in the bottom? And then you have to harvest the wheat in order to get the straw to make the bales.
Right.
And you could choose to sell the wheat. If you sell the wheat, your team gets a point multiplier. The higher your point multiplier is, the slower your belt goes. Okay? to the point where if you max out the multiplier, your belt comes to a stop. And by the way, the other team's belt goes just as much faster as your belt is going slower.
Oh, that ain't fair.
But they
So-
get less. They get less points per bail.
Right. Okay. Wow. That's complicated.
So if you go for the multiplier, get more points, your belt slows down, so you can sell less per second over time, but your opponent gets more. They can sell more per second bail volume, but maybe they earn less. At the same point, they may be going for the multiplier also, which then has the inverse effect for both teams. And then you have this drawbridge concept. If I go over the drawbridge, then my drawbridge goes up and the same drawbridge on the other team goes up.
Right after you go over it.
Yeah. There's 3 drawbridges. They stay up for 30 seconds. So you could be going for a drawbridge, and then the opposing team goes through it, and right before you get there, it goes up, and now now you have to reroute to a different drawbridge. Or
Wow.
worst case, you fall into this giant ditch, and then you're stuck.
Wonder what happens if you're on the drawbridge right when somebody else tries to raise one. I guess it wouldn't do anything if you're already on it.
There's a little timer, like it goes up slowly, so you actually can ramp off of it if you hit it at if it's starting to climb, and you can jump the gap because it's
Oh,
a
okay.
slow rise.
Who was it? Somebody was on the drawbridge, and it went up to the point where their whole trailer was stuck in the collision.
I think Nitro Dad was stuck on top of one for 20 seconds, sitting teetering on top of it.
Penalty.
Call that a power play.
So, some people are like, it's dumb and everything. Dang it, if you get in it, it gets fun. When you're in the heat of the challenge, you're like, oh my gosh. Thing is,
Don't they have some pretty good prizes for winning?
that's if you go to the
Oh, you gotta go to the
in-person
thing, okay.
competitions. The online ones that we're going to do are just,
Oh, okay. So you don't win anything other than, hey, I'm good.
yeah. You see, if you do the online tournament, you can pretty much use whatever controllers you have.
Okay.
So if you go to the physical tournament, you're restricted to just keyboard, mouse, maybe Xbox controller, because
Oh,
you
I
got
see.
to use their gaming stations.
That could be harder if you're used to using a wheel and sticks.
Yeah. So
Pedals.
they can't really restrict individuals at home from online play is for fun.
Yeah, they wouldn't have any way of knowing what you had hooked up to your computer.
Plus, if you had a severe lag issue,
Right.
worst
But I
case,
think-
somebody gets disconnected. It's qualified.
What's the prize pool for the physical tournaments? I think $30,000 per tournament.
Grand prize is a couple $100,000.
Wow. That's worth playing for.
But that's
Mm-hmm.
it's like 12, 10 or so qualifying tournaments, and then there's the big grand championship tournament, which is FarmCon.
Yeah, so it takes a while to get there.
There's now 8 seeded teams. Those are factory teams. Porsche has a team. So those 8 seeded teams basically immediately have the first 8 slots in the 16-slot finals. Any physical championship. then any teams that physically come basically fight it out for the lower 8 bracket, 16. At that point, each player team is playing a factory team or to the kind of stack the deck against you.
Can anybody say pay to play?
Yep.
But really, it comes down to if you execute a good strategy. It doesn't matter if they're not. Just play by the same rules.
Right.
So our biggest thing is trying to figure out, are the points we're putting up in practice, are they anywhere competitive? You don't know until you see a tournament.
Yeah, you have no way of knowing whether you're doing good, or you think, oh, we made 100 points, and you get in there and in the tournament they're regularly hitting 1,000 or 1,200. Well, that didn't work.
Yeah, that's why I want to watch. I'm curious to see what they do, but I think you could also get a good feel of how you're doing when you play other teams. You know, just in fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell how you're doing, what your strategy, whether it works or not. Strategy sucks. You'd have to change up.
So the way it works is the 6 players join the server. Pick your team. Pick the side, red or blue. The captain, basically, once all 6 players are in the server, the captains pick from each team, basically pick one implement, one vehicle that's basically off limit. Okay, so there's very select vehicles that you can use, and captains get to pick. Like they say, all right, well, I don't want this Massey Ferguson telehandler to be available to either team. I'm gonna basically block it. So they might say, I don't want this JCB fast track to be available, so they can block it. And then each player picks the vehicle that they want. Captains pick 2 power play options, which can be something. Bale trailer. Your tractors accelerate faster, higher top speed. Gates, they stay up half as long, etc. So then it's figuring out strategies for various power plays.
Different equipment will perform differently too. Like a JCB is faster top end, but maybe a little slower getting off the line because they don't have quite as much torque.
And then
one of the other ones.
When one team picks something, the other team can't.
That I don't know.
Yeah, because we haven't been able to test that.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're used to playing with the Fent 1000 and the other team goes first and they pick it, and you haven't practiced with another a tool, you're like, oh man. Yeah. So that's where scouting comes in too. If you watch other people compete and they always want to do a certain setup, I mean, you can block their strategy by,
blocking their favorite tractor.
Mm-hmm.
So the Fent 1000, it's blocked. You can't use it. Sorry.
Yeah, so you have different. You pick something to keep the other team from playing it, or do you pick something that you don't want to use? And there's different harvesters. There's 4 harvesters. So you don't pick those; they're playfield. But each harvester has its own unique benefits, or detriments. So, like, one harvester may have a wide head, but its operating speed is slower, and its unload speed is slower. Maybe a harvester with a smaller head, it can drive faster and unload quicker. So you go for a bigger windrow, which means you make bales faster, but you can only harvest so quick. Then if you're going to go for the grain power play, that harvester then takes significantly longer to unload. This is a 15-minute match, so it's not... So you only have so much time to make points. You only have so much time to make straw to make your points. Hey Eric, I'd say, I don't know if it's, I would say it sucks, but it's definitely...
It's a chess match with tractors.
It's definitely a
Yeah,
disappointment that it wasn't part of the base game.
And then like, so if we run and grab a harvester, the other team can't use it. So you can lock them out. So if you want to use the big Fent ideal and you get to it before the other team, they can't use it.
Mm-hmm.
And same with balers. There's 4 different balers, and you can each one has certain traits. Some bale faster, some carry internal storage, like the big crone carries 3 bales that you could just unload into the sell point. But it takes a lot of horsepower to run.
Which harvesters are on the field when you start?
Oh, what is it, Klein? The
You get
Fent, the New Holland.
The 700 series John Deere. You get the Ideal, you get the Holland 10.90, and the Case Axum,
Yeah.
big one.
I guess all the big ones, basically, yeah.
But, like, you could, 2 teams could be going towards the same harvester, but one team get to it first, and all of a sudden you're like, I can't. And like, oh, time's lost because now I got to go to this other one. There's no tabbing, obviously, so you got to basically drive to where you want to get to, or run. Running is pretty slow because everything's spread out.
Yeah, the running would be the hard part. Slow you down because you don't got no super speed.
Well, I'd say once Global Company shows up, then I think a lot of production's going to be showing up. I think LS Mod Company is going to submit that in the mod contest. So we got to wait until the mod contest to basically then see what Global Company really has to offer. And then it's going to take a little bit of time for folks to figure out how to implement it. Like on this map, there's the fill mover script, which allows us to basically do just this. What's the capacity on this silo?
Hang on, I'll tell you.
That's right. It's on your prices screen, Klein.
It's 1,703,040, I think.
Per product, right?
I think so, yeah.
So you can have 1.7 of chaff and then 1.7 of silage. So.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the mover script divides those, but I don't think it does. Pretty sure it don't.
We know Seasons is in the works. Just haven't seen it yet. No real idea when that's going to be out.
I got 89,000 in silage and 84,000 in grain. And selling silage from a tipper work.
Chad, there is a biofuel plant.
Cool.
It's out there. I think you can probably find it over at
So So you got the new one in already.
Modhoster.com.
Yeah. Yep.
Now here's a trick for you. You can try if you don't mind when you get a minute. Check and see if you start in like farm manager mode when you don't own anything. See whether the doors work up here by the BGA on the buildings. I have a feeling that they won't open.
Yeah, I can do it here if we do it real quick.
At least that's the way it used to be. If they're not farm ID 1, where it was just what you are when you start the game, then you can't do any of that opening and closing stuff.
Yeah, let me just start a new save game.
I saw it. I didn't do a mod review on it because I wasn't overly keen on how it made on what its input outputs were. But there's definitely some options out there on it.
No, you can still open them.
Okay. That's fine. In real life, it wouldn't matter. As long as they're not locked, it wouldn't matter. In real life, you'd still be able to slide them open and close whether you own it or not.
Yeah, Von Ariens, it's really a trade.
Yeah, it works.
You go with
still the main farm.
You go with and keep playing a fully modded version in 17, or do you go with the current release
grain barge
and know that you're just giving some stuff up?
You'll hear his engine idling if you get down close to the gas pumps.
Yeah, Klein needs to do that on his stream real quick. Fast forward time, see the barge come in.
What time is it going to be?
Whatever time it's dark, probably 2100. I think it's 2100 is the default dark time.
I like the old plow you got sitting behind the shed.
Yeah, by the barn there, by the house. Is the house solid now? You can't run through it.
I didn't check. Let me double check.
You don't try to run through all the buildings?
No, I'm too busy making the map.
It's solid.
I don't have time to be running through buildings.
First thing I do is I try to run into stuff.
That's why I let you test it. See if you can break it. That's so funny. The first time I put my stuff over at PCSG, and Johnny V's like their head tester over there, and I said, "Well, don't you need to test my map?" He says, "Nope." I said, "How come?" He says, "I done watched Farmer Klein test it. I don't need to test it."
That's about right.
He does. He tunes in anytime one of my things is going to be tested. He watches in the stream too.
He was asking me a whole bunch of Hoff questions the other day.
Yeah, he watches all your streams now. And that way, if it's going to be on PCSG, he already knows it's been thoroughly tested, so there's no point in him wasting time doing it.
It's a lurker.
Mm-hmm. He's a lurker,
So,
all right.
So you'll be uploading to Nexus?
Well, since PCSG has been saved and is no longer going to die, I might just do it there, or I might decide to do it at both places. I don't know. I have a feeling that if I put things on Nexus, they're going to end up all over the internet, same as they did at FSUK, so I'm not real sure about that yet. I'm going to have to kind of move on it.
I didn't know PCSG got saved.
Yeah, it is.
Some
fella, what's his name? Oh man, I can't think of his name now. He took it over, so it's not going to die.
Well, you're.
But yeah, if they
Lots
did
of
die,
people are in
they were
that
planning
boat.
on dying, then that would be my plan. I would put everything on Nexus from now on out. But I would prefer to put things on PCSG. I don't like the way Nexus adds that long numerical thing to your file name when you download stuff from them.
Alright, let's go over here to the dock and make time happen. See the boat come in.
Well, it kind of just appears. It doesn't actually come floating in. I wish it could. Well, I probably could if I put it on a spline. That's a lot of work just for a boat. I wanted to have a ferry that had some sell points on it that would only show up at certain times, but the problem with that is if you go to visit those sell points, you'll fall in the water because of that new giants thing. So I had to scrap that idea.
Well,
So instead, the way it is now, the only time you can sell at the granary is when the ship is there, and only for a 3-hour window of the time that the ship is there. So, but when you are able to sell, you'll notice that the barriers will disappear, they'll go away, and then the collision blocker will leave, so you can actually tip into the trigger and sell your stuff.
on the PCSG front, I was going to hold out for another week or so, and then I was going to find out what the general monthly monetary commitment hosting platform, everything. Slightly.
Yeah, I kind
I
of
got
thought
out
about
of
it a
that.
little bit too, but
I got out of that hosting biz a couple of years ago, and I have not regretted it a bit.
it was headache enough for me managing my own business website and dealing with the hosting company on that. I didn't like that, although they were good. It was nothing on them; they were good people, but it's just a big pain to keep the site running. So I don't want to do that. That's why I said no.
Probably 15 years ago, I sold a website that I started from scratch, built it up to about 10,000, 12,000 members. Sold it. Just didn't have. Having a kid, having a family, I'm like, I don't need to be dealing with that and everything. I didn't want to see that resource go away either. All right, so we're going to save time, and then we're going to fast forward. Fast forward in.
You got to do it the slow way.
I got to do it the slow way.
Raz and I were talking when I first came up with the idea for this map, and we were thinking at first about making the vehicles just spawn on the beach when you buy them. But then I wasn't sure how good that'd be. People might have trouble getting them up that cliff to get onto the map.
It's spawn halfway in the water.
Yeah, that would be true too. You'd get some long header trailer or something, and it would be hanging half in the water and then crash, and they'd be all mad because of that.
What would happen is people would spam spawn vehicles, and then they complain because, like, well, the vehicle's already underwater. Well, if you wouldn't have bought 10 tractors to start with.
Exactly.
Not supposed to have a bunch of money. Hey, Kevin, what's up?
Yeah, this map is the other little map I'm kind of about the antithesis of this one. It'd be a little side project, maybe, I don't know, but this one was designed to be a challenge, to be difficult.
I saw the land bridge to the little island, but then I saw you can't buy any land on the.
Yeah, the little island over there is actually the weather station, the one that's monitored. It's just you're just supposed to be able to walk out there and say, "Ooh, this is interesting." That's all it is.
As long as the barricades are up, we can't sell.
Right.
Can't sell until the ship shows up.
Yeah, the ship will show up right before the barricades go down.
Only for a couple hours after the ship shows up. Oh, there's the ship.
If I did it right, it would be. I think you can sell from 2100 to 2400, something like that. And then the ship will be there from about 2100 all the way through till 5 in the morning or so.
Ship shows up 7. Start.
No, not really sure. And I think if Seasons changes the darkness and lights times like it did before in 2017, that'll all be subject to change. But the sell time will always be the same. It will.
Yeah. Can you put any lights that shine onto the boat?
I
Just-
could, maybe.
I don't know. I don't know how hard it would be.
I have just, you mean on the boat? Lights that are on the boat itself?
Either on the boat or on the side of the grain tower that lights up the boat. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just an aesthetic thing. It has nothing to do with gameplay.
Around 21. Yeah, around 2100 is when the barriers went down.
I mean, you're the artist.
I had thought about that, just running the street lights on around, but then I was thinking it's dark and mysterious like it is, and you can hear the engine rumbling, and see what it is nobody on the boat. You're here on this island all by yourself. You don't even have a soccer ball head to talk to. You got nothing.
No Wilson.
Nope, no Wilson.
All right.
We're gonna see.
I get it.
We're gonna see what happens when barriers up. See if
Yeah, I let them come up once when I was there, and it just made me go up in the air
it launch it
because the
like
collision.
like I did when I was testing.
Well, it's real slow, so it's not going to hurt you.
Oh, it's not like when I launched the tractor in
Nope.
Mercury Farms.
Mercury Farms.
And now in Emerald Coast, I made the barrier thingy went up instead of down. This time I made it sink down into the thing. You should be able to walk over the grain, over the thing now, with it down.
Yeah, I parked the tractor on it. Oh my! That's a
I
problem.
like the map. I think it's really nice, Will.
I appreciate it. It was just a little wild hair idea that ended up taking a bit longer than I wanted to do to get it done, but
Klein's hanging.
well, you should have parked in the center, not half on it.
He did it on purpose. I know him.
Yeah,
He's trying to break it.
of course.
That is one good hitch.
And I've got a lag on mine. I'm watching it on real YouTube on the internet, and it hadn't come up yet. It's just about to.
Oh, that is a lag.
Yeah, I'm still looking at the tractor sitting here, waiting, and the clouds are zipping by.
Lit up lighthouse. Even the windows on the side of the lighthouse light up.
Yeah, that's the light. There it goes. It just now went in the air. Here come the barriers. Now the tractor's hanging in midair. That's funny.
All right, guys. Well, that is it. That's intended. That's
So
how
now you're gonna be in
that's
the
how
air
the collision
for
works.
what's that? 21 hours
But
before
don't
it
park
goes
it.
back down again.
Don't park it on the
Is the
on
boat,
the tip
boat
point.
still there?
Yeah, the boat will be there until dawn.
Oh, okay. Okay.
They're in bed now, putting all the prop away.
No.
Yeah, the boat is controlled by a robot. It's not even manned, and all these facilities here are automated. There's no
So-
pilot here.
It's a drone bot.
So tonight or tomorrow night we will be
A
over
drone boat.
on American Truck
Exactly.
Simulator, playing in the Washington DLC
It
that
just
comes
pulls
out
up there
tomorrow.
and it sits there. It has to be at station keeping because it
So-
can't tie itself off.
So until next
There's nobody
time,
there to tie the boat off. You'll notice that there's no tie offs, no ropes tying it to the tie offs on the side of the pier or the port rather.
say bye.
Good night, everybody.
Say
Later.
hasta la bye bye.